Should I claim ownership for a paper that was written by ChatGPT from a blog article I wrote? The answer I think is no. But also I have been thinking about this question since yesterday. I did exactly this. In the last few years I wrote a few articles, but often I had the problem that I was optimizing for two different audiences. For the scientific one, which basically would be none, and then also for a general audience. So writing with higher compression, more dramatization, and a higher signal to noise ratio. Now the question is, how do I resolve this conflict? In the past, this resulted in me basically posting these blog articles that leaned more toward a general audience. So yesterday I had the idea, now with ChatGPT 5, what if I could finally turn this into a paper? And connected to this I think are several questions. One, in the past, for example, there was possibly the decision whether to use typewriting or to continue to handwrite books. And some might have said, oh, I really need handwriting because it's so important to the process and you have to think about the words so much more. The question is, who eventually won? So if there are two people, identical, let's say twins, one decides to use ChatGPT 5 for writing and the other one does not. Who will eventually have produced more books with possibly also higher quality and also faster? So the answer I think is obvious. If now one can use more compute, everybody who uses only the organic intelligence one has will eventually lose, as book writing is also just a business. Maybe not just a financial business, but also one of status. And the second question is the following. Why would I care about putting my idea out into the world? Because obviously I want other people to see this idea, to possibly implement it, to work on it. So would it not be more useful if the idea I have is converted into a format where it is actually better understood? So possibly, as of now, ChatGPT 5 already has a verbal IQ that exceeds mine by, let's say, a big margin. Also, I'm not a native English speaker. So the only problem it seems that is left, so the only question left then is whether I should claim authorship. I recorded this take now 5 times, authorship. And the answer to this is probably no. So I wrote into the end, or I had ChatGPT 5 write into the end, that there was partial assistance from large language models, which maybe describes the situation. Something else I think is left. Maybe an Occam's razor question would be the following. Would this paper exist without me? And if the answer still is no, then I'm kind of the cause for this paper to exist. ChatGPT would not have written this paper on its own. Now, of course, this is my advantage to a certain extent, and it also favors my argument. Look, of all the papers I wrote. But if I call somebody with a telephone and I say hello, then also the telephone didn't really make the call. So the question is, of course, is now ChatGPT more to be seen as technology or more to be seen as additional intelligence, which then causatively does something for me or which can cause things on its own? I don't know. But one question is left.